Welcome to Homeschool Today. I'm Andrea Johns. Today we're going to talk about basic steps to begin homeschooling, specifically being legal compliant.
Life is crazy, it's so wild. Won't you stay with me for a while? Let me show you your superpower. Let's get to it, you know your own school teacher. All right.
So you made the big decision to start homeschooling. Congratulations! Making the decision is the first step in the homeschooling process. I am truly excited for you as I know what an amazing journey you are about to begin. I know you may have some worries and concerns about what happens next. So today I want to talk a bit about what needs to happen and what things I recommend happen next to ensure that you are ready as possible for your first day as a homeschool family. This video will talk specifically about being legally compliant. The second video will talk about other steps that you should consider before you begin or early in the homeschool process that you will find valuable. These are truly simple steps that will make your homeschooling easier and more enjoyable and give you peace of mind that you have made the best decision for your family by beginning the homeschooling adventure. The first step after you make your big decision is to take care of the legal requirements that can and will vary by state. Generally speaking, within 15 days of starting to homeschool, you are required to file a notice of intent to homeschool, and this is done with the county superintendent of schools. I recommend filing before you begin so you don't lose sight of this legality with all the excitement that will come when you actually start homeschooling. This is important and will keep you from having issues of truancy. We have a video created specifically to teach you how to file your letter of intent. There's even a sample letter so you can use it to make the process easier. I do need to stress again that these requirements can and do vary by state. The best place that I know to find this information is the Homeschool Legal Defense Association website, hslda.org. I've mentioned this group in earlier videos, and you will hear their name again as I consider them the best place to find anything and everything related to the legal side of homeschooling. This being said, we live in Florida, and in Florida, this is all that is required to begin homeschooling. Once you are actually homeschooling, there are some other things that you need to remember. You will likely need to maintain a portfolio of work that your student completes. This means keeping a record of what you taught, when you taught it, a list of what materials were used to teach, and samples of the student's work. We have a video specifically created to show you an easy way to create a student portfolio. We even include several forms you will need so you don't have to worry about creating them from scratch. Law in Florida says that you have to keep these portfolios for 2 full years after the yearly portfolio is complete. The superintendent can request to review your portfolio at any time. However, the office must notify you in writing and give you a minimum of 15 days to comply with that request. Next, every student must be evaluated once a year to ensure that they are progressing in their educational studies. There are several ways that this can be managed. The first is to have the student's educational progress evaluated by a state-certified teacher. The evaluation includes a review of their portfolio and a discussion with the student about things they've learned over the year. The second option for meeting the evaluation requirement is to have the student take a nationally normed student achievement test that's administered by a certified teacher. These are tests like the Stanford Achievement Test, or known as the STAT-10, or the Iowa Test of Basic Skills, or the California Achievement Test. These tests are taken by public school students, private school students, and homeschoolers at the grade level they have just completed or are about to complete, as some schools test in April or early May. For this reason, they are a good indicator of your child's progress and can be used to satisfy the evaluation portion needed to be legally compliant. Another option is to have your student take a state student assessment test used by the school district and administered by a certified teacher. We have a video that covers standardized testing and state assessments that should answer any questions that you might have about this process. Yet a fourth option is to have your student be evaluated by a Florida licensed psychologist or a school psychologist. The fifth option's language of the state statute ends with, the student can be evaluated with any other valid measurement tool that is mutually agreed upon. So there are many ways to meet the evaluation requirement. In Florida, there's even another option for homeschooling that replaces the requirements that we just talked about. Homeschooling under a private school umbrella program negates the need to have a portfolio review or submit testing results to the superintendent of schools. You can enroll your child in a private school that is registered with the Florida Department of Education and that will oversee your homeschool program. These schools are called umbrella schools because your homeschool program is supervised by them rather than overseen by the local school offices. Regardless of where you live, what the legal requirements are for your state, or the age of the students, I highly recommend keeping good records of your educational journey. These records serve several purposes, including the legal requirement for keeping a portfolio of work. These records can be used to demonstrate your students' work level if they need to make a move to a private or public school sometime in the future. Also, they serve as a reminder of all the exciting things that you and your children have accomplished on your homeschool journey over the year or years that you've homeschooled. All 50 states allow for homeschooling. All 50 states require a minimum of a letter of intent to homeschool or something similar. Some states require very little documentation to support the homeschooling process. The least restrictive states put little or no regulatory burden on homeschool families, and for the most part, allow parents to freely educate their children as they see fit. On the other end of the spectrum, the most restrictive states require formal homeschool plans, portfolio reviews, testing, and public school evaluation on an annual basis. Because the laws vary so greatly by state, it is important that you learn the requirements of your state so that you can be compliant. As I already mentioned, we live in Florida. Florida falls into the middle ground for government-regulated homeschool requirements. I mention this so I can share with you that meeting these requirements is really very easy and doesn't require much of your time or energy once you know what you have to do. I hope you find this information helpful as you begin your homeschooling journey. In the next video, I will share some great steps, though not legally required, that will make your homeschooling years much easier and much more enjoyable. Please take a minute and hit the like button at the bottom of the screen. It's what keeps us going. And click subscribe so you'll be among the first to know as our new videos are released. As always, thank you for joining us. And until next time, happy homeschooling.
Or a soothsayer.
A soothsayer. That's it. Right there. That's fine. Or a La. A lot of S's. Go back. Require formal homeschool. Blah. On the other end of the spectrum, the most
What are you saying?
Okay.
Hey, Roger. Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Okay, now I do want to do something serious just for a second. I think it's important to kind of, it would not be part of this, but later on down the road, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to go down beside you, and we're going to talk about our evolution real quick, just over the last 3 months, and kind of go back and forth between these things. And
super quick.
yeah, super quick, I promise.
It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I have to get up at 7.
All right, so hang on, let me turn around. All right, so I am Mr. Andrea Johns, and I am the guy that's typically behind the camera. And I thought I wanted to take a second to really kind of reflect, and so you get a sense of judgment where we're at, because we've worked so hard at getting ready, at just even trying to do this at this kind of level. 4 months ago, 3-4 months ago, I was the guy, if somebody needed to take a picture, I said, who knows how to take a picture? Who knows how to take a picture? Who knows how to do that? I'd videoing, well, we could good at it, and you were better at it than me on the phone or whatever. But then I kept really paying attention and really thinking about what she has to offer, because our kids are getting older, and it's just a matter of just a few more years, and they're finished with this. And I'm like, she's had, gosh, a lot of experience doing this. 4 of our 5 kids have all gone through the homeschool process, and and I was thinking about what I do for work. I work in a hotel, and I've been doing that for like 25 years, and I thought about maybe at some point maybe turning in some training videos, teaching what I knew. And then it immediately clicked. I said we had to do this. And I think when we first started out doing this, and what I remember saying very distinctly is saying, you know what, if we can make some money doing this, fine. At the end of the day, if all we can do is help people, then it's worth every effort. Part of this for me especially is this has turned into a new passion for me. I've always been a creative type person. I've been a musician my whole life. At some point, we'll introduce you to kind of the environment downstairs where I have my own little home recording studio. You know, you got a chance to hear the theme, or at least one of the theme songs. I plan to do a lot, so who knows when you're watching this. But that's something I love doing, and my son Joshua loves playing. My older son Eric loves playing, and Hannah just got a ukulele, so who knows what's going on there. But at the end of the day, we kind of wanted to share this with you. I mean, we have gone from making some really bad videos to just now, probably honestly, since last night. I mean, we're episode number 4, I think, or 4 or 5 in this somewhere, and I have to tell you, we're pleased with ourselves. I don't know if you are, but we are so far, but there's room to grow and all that stuff. But, you know, you'll watch a lot of these YouTube videos. Oh, just go out and spend $60 on lights and buy a camera. I'm sorry, no, not if you're really going to take it seriously. I mean, you don't have to spend $1 million, and because we don't have $1 million, maybe we'll make $1 million. Help us out, like and subscribe. In all seriousness, though, to get it requires time more than anything else. Learning. I'd never even used Final Cut Pro until a couple of months ago, and I spent one day so mad at that application because I was trying to make it do something I thought it should do. It was never supposed to do, and then I learned it and said, "Oh gosh, that's kind of simple, isn't it?" But it's a growing thing, and so I'll end all this to say this: we bought one thing. There have been 3 things that have been really instrumental in our ability to at least get the quality we're getting now, and we're going to shoot to get so much more. We're in our infancy of that. Ultimately, a really strong, solid light. I got an Aperture 120D, does a fantastic job. We're doing this in our bedroom. This area right here is a dormer window area. The ceiling is like 6.5 to 7 feet. It's probably, about 7 feet wide this way? At the most, which is why we can only do one side over here. And then we've got the window going out over the house. And so that's where we're doing this at. My wife doesn't necessarily like looking at this in the bedroom, but we're having fun. And so we truly do hope you guys enjoy this. I mean, I'm having the time of my life. I'm getting involved in a creative way that I haven't since a very long time, as a musician and things like that. So I'm finding a new passion, borderline obsession. And so all I can do is help showcase how amazing she is and all the knowledge that she has to share. I can promise you, she's done a heck of a job with our kids. I can't even begin to stress that to you. You talk to anybody who knows our kids across the board. Academically, they are all solid as a rock, okay? But you know what's most important? Here's what's most important to us. Now, you can have your own thing, and you don't have to agree with us, but here's what's most important to us. The kids love the Lord. That's number 1 to us. Choose your path. That's our path, okay? Kids love the Lord. That's the most important. All of our kids love the Lord. Number 2, they're good people. At the end of the day, we've raised good, solid human beings, and we just hope we don't mess it up from here because we've done it. She's done a really good job at that. And I think that's important because I think for us, one of the main reasons we decided to get into this homeschooling, there were many, and we'll talk about these more and more and more. But at the end of the day, honestly, at least for me, I wanted my kids to have the lifestyle that I grew up in. And we all know the world is not that today. I'm 55 years old today. We got started late. I got started late. At least the second round, because we've got all the way from 35 down to 14-year-old twins. But, that was powerful for me. I wanted to be able to live a good, balanced life. And sadly, there are many families out there that just can't afford to do that. Mom and dad both have to work full time. We get it. We just wanted to see what we could do because we want our kids to make a difference in this world. I don't wish my kids become doctors and lawyers and make tons of money. I mean, if they want to do that, fine. If all my kids wanted to grow up and just did nothing but serve people the rest of their life, I can't begin to tell you how proud that would make me, regardless of any money they ever made, because that's making a difference in someone else's life. And if we as parents can prepare our children to be able to get to a point where they can make every day of their life at least some small measure of a positive difference, then we can all say, happy homeschooling.